Good morning all, welcome back to the channel. What a load of ball, episode 47, which is quite mind-blowing when you think about it. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching all the videos over the years now, and also to people who've been getting involved and supporting along with this series. Got today, we got tomorrow. Harvey's off to Silverstone on Thursday. I can only do a couple of hours, and then I've got my lad on Friday, so gonna do what we can today. I'm in extra early today because I didn't have to do the school run. Excuse the ratchet strap, that's just propping up the steering column at the moment. So we're gonna get that back in properly today. I'm gonna have a play with the shifter linkage. As you'd seen at the end of the last video, we kind of got that, well, version 1 of that in. And as brilliant as it is, it's not quite perfect, so I'm going to have a play with that. The very first thing I'm going to do actually though is to measure up for the clutch line, because my friend Grant at GB Enterprise, he's going to knock up a flexi line or a braided hose for us, just to save bending the hard line, because although I've got the kit to do that and all the flaring stuff, it's a bit of a mission, and if I can get a job done by someone else, that makes life a lot easier. So yeah, let me show you what I'm going to be doing today. I know yesterday I wrote off the idea of remaking this plate, but I think I'm going to remake it. Maybe not today, just because time's precious, and I feel like we're not going to be driving away this week anyway, so let's not rush things for the sake of it. I'm going to play with placement of this one. What we were finding yesterday is it kind of binds when you're going back into 4th or 2nd. And I think that's kind of to do with the angle of this. So I'm going to centralise this in the actual hole, rather than getting it as far back on the mounting plate as possible. So probably today it will only be mounted with 2 holes. At least then we can kind of get that right. Other things that I want to do is kind of pin this somehow, put a bolt through, maybe 2 small bolts, just because there's a little bit of play in that, and that's handmade. That's like, I'm not complaining at all, because these guys have done an amazing job in the time frame. And with this weird one-off engineering marvel anyway, so gonna get that a little bit more sturdy. And then, yeah, just have a play, really. Maybe move that further forward. We're at the shortest we can be here. So it might be that we move the bolt hole forward. These, once we've finalised where, we're going to cut these off anyway. Other thing that we can try is flipping this one back round. At the moment, we've got the kink pointing forward, but it might be better to actually have it pointing this way, which is kind of how it's meant to be designed, but that's so that the stick is up for the driver, but we're doing things slightly differently, so it kind of made sense to try it that way. Other things we need to do is to kind of finalise or get the OEM stuff back in here, because that's all strewn about the place. I'm happy with the handbrake. I might have a little fiddle with the U-bolts underneath, just to orientate them a bit better, or make some clearance if there's a little bracket that's slightly in the way. But for now, that's fine. I'd be happy parking it on the handbrake. Other thing we need to do, and I probably won't do this week now, maybe later on, but is to think about this thing. And the turret of the shifter doesn't quite sit central to the hole we did, which is a bit annoying, but that's just the perspective of where we could see it at the time, and then once it's pitched up, it's moved forward a bit, so you live and learn. What we'll probably do with this one though is mount it as far forward as we can in the hole, and then cut a hole in this. Yeah, undecided actually. I don't know whether to double up. I'm concerned that if I double up on the selector shaft, there's going to be too much rubber kind of fighting us all the time. So I think with this, I might cut it around sort of there, and then have it going around that whole thing, rather than fighting on the on the selector like that, because too much of that might be tricky. So yeah, I think that's it for the introduction. It's about 8:20 now. I'm expecting Harvey at 9. I've got to leave at about 3:45 today. Hopefully it's not going to be too hot, but it looks like it's going to be a hot day. So unfortunately, productivity drops when it gets hot. Anyway, I'm going to lift the car, get the slave cylinder bolted on, find a bit of wire or something to work out an approximate length, and then get that measurement sent off. I've got a lead on the prop shaft, so I'm hopefully going to contact them, and then they're a Bristol based company and I go to Bristol quite a lot, so that's an excuse to go up there next week and take up the current one and get that shortened. So yeah, maybe by the end of the summer we'll be driving, but I don't think we'll be driving by the end of this week, but that's fine. I've got the swanky new daily. I will introduce that soon, but I'm keeping that a bit of a surprise for now. Just waiting on some tyres. When they get delivered, then I can do a nice little video on that, unless I come up with some other mod in between now and then. I am looking at subs, so maybe that will happen in the next week or so. Okay, I will catch you in a bit, guys. So what I've done to work out the length is I just sent a single wire down. I've zip tied it onto the slave cylinder down there and given it fed it through a few things to give it a decent routing of where I might tie it to. I've then got it to where I want it to go down here, and I've marked it with a zip tie. I'm going to undo it from the other end, pull it all out, and then I can measure it, and then I know how long a lead or how long a hose I need. So zip tie came out about 178 centimeters. That's just shifted. I'm gonna order 180 just to be on the safe side. But yeah, at least we know how long that's going to be. Now I can crack on with that shifter plate. Right, this is all looking pretty good. I've moved it back about an inch. Again, this is proto plate. I'm planning to replace this at some point. This is now working really well. So that's definitely neutral. Third, fourth, fifth's much better now. First, second, and reverse, all good. This is sitting a bit high though, so I'm going to speak to the guys in the machine shop nicely and see whether they can make a similar insert to go in here, and then we'll bolt at the top. Tempted maybe upgrading it. This is an 8mm bolt. Maybe go to M10 just to make it a little bit more rigid. We can't go much bigger on this end, and so far that's actually working okay, so I'm happy to leave that as it is, but I do want to try and drop that down a little bit just so that we've got more chance of clearing this, because at the moment this is hitting it. We can't really lift that up much higher because of the handbrake, and I think it would just look silly if it was up too high, although it does almost naturally want to tie in up here. So yeah, we're going to take that back, see what they can do about that. I might mark up this because we've got a couple of extra lads in today, so they might want to do a bit of filing for the project as well. Then we can adjust that a little bit later, and I think just put like a 3mm hole through and just pin it so that it can't actually rotate. So while that's hopefully been worked on, if they can today, I'll start reassembling all the other bits which were going on in here, but we're doing really well. Harvey's just making a bracket to tie in the clutch pedal up top around here somewhere, because although it mounts really nicely straight to the slave cylinder, there is quite a bit of flexor, so we're just repurposing a part off of the old foot handbrake to then hopefully make a bit of an adapter to make that work. But all going really well. I'm going to see and mark this as well so that can be trimmed down a little bit. Yeah, happy days. So quick video update before we go for lunch. Airbag controller, that's all in. That's all in now for the foreseeable. Had to reroute this lead. It did come out under here, but in order to reach the yaw sensor, I've had to pull it back and reloom it, and that's fine. This is the original bracket for the yaw sensor. It used to mount up like that, and then there's like a low point down there, but we can't reach that anymore. So I've just had a good look at it, and I'm going to flip it over, cut it, and it seems pretty sturdy there. I'm then going to move these further this way somehow and put some riv nuts in for that to mount to, because with that there and that there, I don't know, maybe it'll work, but I think we might be hitting that part of the handbrake. So I'm going to cut that, mount that, cut that, mount that, and then go from there. So I'm just in the middle of redoing this bracket. I'm really not very good at drilling holes this week, but I'm adapting. Got some M6 riv nuts in to hold the sensor in. I'm just cutting off the back of them though, because it's literally holding a sensor, and I don't think we've got this amount of distance under the plate. So I'm just lopping off the back of those. The crimp's all in there. It's not going to change the integrity of it. Harvey's just repurposing and fabricating a bracket to tie in the new clutch pedal. So this used to be on top of the old foot operated handbrake, and we're kind of juggling it around. I'm just trying to sort a riv nut to go into that one. So we're working pretty hard today, so we keep running away from ourselves. So I just wanted to pause and give you a little update. Right, pretty happy with how that turned out. Just looking for above. It's ever so slightly, it's like 1 degree off, but I'm sure that'll be okay. If that does become a problem in the future, I'll just slot out this and I can tweak that plate back a bit. But that's all nice. Everything's kind of where it should be. That's nice and sturdy, and it didn't need a third bolt to tie it in. That's all really good. So I'm going to have a bit of a tidy up now. Kind of gather my thoughts a bit. We're on 1:05. We're here till about 3:45 today. So yeah, got a few cables tucked out the way. These I believe are to do with the heated seats, so not in use at the moment, but hopefully will be in the future. I think one will go to a connector underneath, and then the other will go to the seat when I've got seats that have them. But really pleased with how this has all turned out, because obviously this handbrake wasn't there weren't any provisions for it, so made that happen. There's a lot of that going on. Harvey's on that bracket for the pedal. So yeah, I'm gonna have a bit of a tidy up and then think about the next thing to do. Just passing through this workshop, and I thought I'd show you it. It's just been repurposed. This was our HGV workshop, but now this is going to be our aviation and aerospace. We've got a helicopter, 2 planes, and then we've got a wind tunnel, which I mentioned the other day. This is a scaled down wind tunnel, and we can put models and things in here and do all the tests and that. So this is a key thing which my foundation degree guys use, and standing right here when it's really hot is amazing, because there's a lot of airflow on that. So Harvey smashed it out of the park again. If you can see that little bolt up there, that ties in the clutch. So you might have remembered from yesterday's video that there was a bit of kind of funkiness going on there, but that's all amazing now. That feels solid, and you can kind of hear the note in the car. So really pleased, that's good. I'm just having a tidy around the workshop because it's an absolute state, and I can do with mess for a certain period of time, but it's starting to get to me now. So just having a general tidy up so that we can get on top of tools and parts and bits like that. Just popped over to the machine shop. The latest rendition of the linkage there is coming on really nicely. So thanks to J.L.E. We've got 2 other lads in there this week as well. We've got Oscar and Fred. So if you're watching this, thank you. And they're all busy filing and fettling and stuff like that. So all coming on nicely. Right, we're calling it for today. We've just got the 4th bolt in. That's what's there. Welding hopefully happening tomorrow, so we just needed to get that in so that we can turn that into a captivated nut when we get to it, but all happy with how that is. Got the back plate off the Atessa, so I can go and get a hose made for that. So all looking good. So just before we disappear, thank you again for watching, hoping you're enjoying it. Do subscribe if you haven't done already, that would mean a lot. Any questions or anything, put them in the comments and I'll answer when I get there. So that's the end of this one. I will see you again tomorrow.